How to get rid of a loan during a crisis. People always borrow from each other, especially in countries with undeveloped banking systems and unsecured property rights. As a result, the property cannot be pledged as a resource, which is responsible for the underdevelopment of the banking system. The expansion of the middle class and the growth of its income on the eve of the crises also lead to an increase in lending, primarily consumer lending, which contributes to the buildup of debts existing in society. Man by its very nature is not peculiar to believe the worst. Therefore, even many times proven and absolutely predictable crises, as a rule, turn out to be a complete surprise for people. This leads to the emergence of huge problems with the payment of debts. Actually, this is accurately what happens to us. General rules of conduct in a crisis for the debtor and for the creditor. 1. Do not be ashamed to be greedy, without losing, of course, human appearance. 2. Try to always openly and, as far as possible, honestly explain your situation and your capabilities. 3. When faced with a breach of obligations, offer your partner a way out of the situation that is acceptable to you, and, as far as you can assume, to him. 4. Try not to deal with people of a different culture, even national, even social, whose motivations and norms of behavior you do not fully understand. 5. In particular, do not let them borrow money and not borrow from them. 6. Do not violate the laws, written and unwritten. The criminal code, of course, must be respected, but after all, no one has cancelled the 10 Commandments, and it is not only bad, but also simply dangerous to drive people to extremes. Even you are absolutely right. 7. Record all your business conversations on a voice recorder. Such a record is very useful in resolving possible conflicts and, at least, in analyzing and assessing the current situation. 8. In addition, not all people remember not only what they said, but also what they said, and often make decisions based on false memories. This applies not only to your partners, but also, very likely, to yourself. How to get rid of a loan during a crisis. In the mid-70s, American sociologists conducted a study of the psychological pressure exerted on a person by his debts. The results were discouraging. The stress experienced by the American from having a debt of $20,000 in the stress scale developed by them was in second place. He succumbed only to the stress of the death of a loved one and the message of his own serious and dangerous illness. The stress of credit even exceeded the stress of divorce. Usually people who fully pay off the loan for their apartment celebrate this event for a very long time. We are not fully aware of the psychological burden of debt, but it has a depressing and destructive effect on us without any crisis. The crisis has very significantly worsens the situation, and you should just forget about the possibility of taking loans for consumer needs. If you have loans, try to refinance them at other banks at lower interest rates. In this procedure, the bank gives you a loan for early, if possible, repayment of your old loans. The lower interest is due to changes in market conditions or his interest in you as a careful borrower. If you have several loans or credit cards, which for some reason you want to avoid getting rid of, then do not spare the time for constant monitoring of your obligations, so as not to immerse yourself, as in alcoholism, in credit bondage, imperceptibly for yourself. And remember that in times of crisis, the bank can easily suddenly reduce the credit limit on your credit card or even deprive you of the right to take new loans on it. Referring to the deterioration of the economic situation or even to the deterioration of your financial situation. Of course, at the same time, the bank will insist on impeccably timely servicing and repayment of previously taken loans. Be attentive and vigilant. In the next video, you will learn how credit hits the pocket. True credit histories. Stories of people who took out a loan.